Put a 1 in the chat if you've heard people ask you, what's your government name? Think about this for a minute. Let me take a sip of this good little wake-up juice. Okay, I want you to think about something for a second, right? Because this is something that a lot of people miss out on. It's your government name. Yours is a possession. That's a possession. I want you to think about it like this. If I say, let me have your house, everything is tied to that corporate legal fiction, right? You own nothing because they have control over all of your shit, because all of your shit is tied directly to your government name, your property. So your property is owned by your property, but you're not in control of your property. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Like, do you get what I'm saying to you? Like, these things are not as complex as all these people want you to believe that it is. It's not like this whole fucking fraudulent fucking thing like old boy was talking about. There's no fraud involved. You've been giving your property up. You've been giving it up, right? Because right now, even if you start a business, right? Even your business is their property, because your business, you created that business off those same documents, right? You didn't go to the IRS and have them give you a new identification, one that you created yourself, right? One only owns what one creates. You own what you create. You didn't create the birth certificate. That's their property. You didn't create the social security number. That's also their property. You're the guardian of it as the living man or woman, right? The living man is the one that was given the instruments. These are instruments. These are bills of exchange. These are your negotiable instruments. These are the things that you utilize to create commerce. There is no fraud going on. There's just your lack of understanding, right? But ignorance of the law is no excuse. It's not this big, complicated fucking thing. It's really not. It's really not this big, complicated thing. How many of you have been watching all these people that try to fucking tell you all this super complex stuff and try to make it seem like it's so fucking difficult and so fucking complex? How complex does this seem to you, right? How complex does it really seem to you? It's very, very, very basic. You're using their instruments and registering everything to their instruments. You don't own that birth certificate. You don't own that fucking social security number. It tells you right on it. This is the property of the United States government. This is the property of the IRS or the Treasury. It says it right on it. That means that everything that you're getting, you're gifting over to the corporation. How do you create your own instrument? Go straight to the IRS. You don't become the beneficiary. You already are the beneficiary. They gave you that document because of the fact that you're the beneficiary of it, right? They gave you the documents that were necessary for you to utilize things in the world of commerce. You've just been using it incorrectly. Right? Think about that for a minute. It's not this big fucking secret that everybody's talking about. The complex part of it is learning law and learning contract law and how to sign your shit correctly and shit like that. That's the stuff that you need to figure out. This is the basics. The basics of it is very, very simple. It's just getting into the rules of procedure, right? How to conduct yourself properly. That keeps you separate. That makes it different. Right? That's the part that everybody gets lost in. That's what all the studying is about. You get me? So, no, I don't think I need to go over it again. You should be taking notes, whether they're mental or whether you're writing them down. If you come to my live, you should probably be ready to take notes. And even if you're late, the live will be posted on fucking YouTube somewhere. So this is the thing, is like, don't let these people convince you that it's this big fucking thing. Right? Don't let people convince you that it's this big, scary thing. It's not. It's very, very cut and dry. They tell you all the time. Anytime, hey, look, when you went to school, what's your government name? Okay, so are you the government? No. So why are they calling it your government name? Because it's the name that's registered to the government. That means that it's the government's property that you're in control of. Here, I'll break this down for you. I'll give you this. I'll give you this part one more time so that it sinks in for the people and, you know, for the people that missed it, right? I'll give you this part over. Okay, I want you to think about this for a minute, right? Because the key word is your. That's your key word right there. Right now, I'm going to give this to you the easiest way possible, right? Because when people ask you what's your government name, you tell them, oh, I'm John Henry Doe. Which Doe do they want to use? We'll use Doe, as in the deer. Okay, D-O-E. Dead on arrival. You didn't peep that out? Dead on entry, right? John Henry Doe. Okay. All right, so think about this for a minute, right? So they ask you for your government name. All right, now let me ask you something. If I ask you for your house, if I ask you for your car, if I ask you for your dog, if I ask you for your wife, if I ask you for your husband, if I ask you for your money, right? If I ask you for your house, your car, your dog, your wife, your husband, or your money, do you assume that that's you that I'm asking you for? I really want you to, I know this sounds crazy, right? But I want you to think about this for a minute. If I ask you for your house, do you assume that that's you? If I ask you for your car, do you assume that it's you? If I ask you for your dog, your wife, your husband, or your money, do you assume that it's you? Okay, so if that's your property, then how come when they ask you for your government name, you're answering as though it's you? Do you see where I'm going with this? If they ask you for your birth certificate, you don't assume that it's you. If they ask you for your social security number, you don't assume that it's you. But for some reason, when they ask you for your government name, that's me. Think about that for a minute. Just let that sink in for a second. Let that sink in for just a second, right? Because this is the thing, right? Is, you know, when you go and register a business, the business gives you a 9-digit number, right? The business gives you a 9-digit number, right? Now, you have a social security number that has a 9-digit number, right? When you go to purchase your car, that also has its own 9-digit number. When you go to purchase your house, there's a document with a 9-digit number, right? If your dog is registered, it has a 9-digit number. When you get married, you get a 9-digit number with a new name attached to it. Even your money has 9-digit numbers on it. All of these things have 9-digit numbers, including a business. But yet somehow you're assuming that that name that they give you on that paper that also has a 9-digit number attached to it, that name that comes with that social security number that also has its own 9-digit number attached to it, you're assuming that you're these entities, but you're none of these, right? Now, what you really are is the holder in due course of the corporate legal fiction. It is a fiction because it doesn't exist in the real world. It's a human. How do we know that most of you are operating as the human? Because most of you claim to be black or white. Aren't those hues, man? See, the question you should be asking is, why are you assuming the role of the human? The human is the monster. It's the thing that looks like a man or a woman, but isn't a man or woman. Well, common law marriage is a real marriage. That's a real marriage. You're together for a long time. You're married under the eyes of God, right? You just don't have the corporation involved in it. You don't have a document, and you don't have a government agent in the middle of your fucking affairs, right? Who do you go and get married in front of? An administrator, right? So what are they administrating? The persons. See, that's what I mean is you guys are, most people miss the very special words, your and of. Your and of are the two key words that let you know the things that you're dealing with. Of is something that is part. It's a product of something. It's something that comes from something. Of is not the thing. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America. It's not America. It's not American. See, the republic, which means no public, no public. See, right now, everything you do, they tell you that you're operating in the what? The public. What's the public? The public is the general idea of the fucking people around you. That's not the man or the woman itself, right? Yeah, property of. Exactly. Exactly, Trax. You see what you see where I'm going with this? See, these are the things that you're getting caught up in. You're and of. Because you're not claiming what's yours, right? You're giving it away. Who are you giving it to? Of. Of means that it's in your mind. Hey, what's up, Jazz? What's good with you? How do you claim it? I just told you how to claim it. I've been telling you the whole entire time. I've repeated it like 7,000 times. You're just missing it because you're following along, but you're not catching it quite. You're not quite catching it. The IRS is the place where you create these entities, isn't it? Think about that. If the IRS is the one that has all of the registrations of all these different entities, wouldn't that be the place where you go and claim it? Where you go and let them know that you're the one that's the holder in due course? You're the holder in due course of that legal fiction? Bro, when you're claiming a race, you're claiming that you're a human. That's why you deal with human resources, right? All of your businesses deal with human resources. Every single company that you have has a human resource department that you go and talk to whenever you're having a problem. Because only fictitious entities can deal with fictitious entities, right? So the problem is that most of you, it's not that you're being led into any type of fraud. There's no fraud involved. You're just not paying attention to the words. You get me? That's all that it is. You are not paying attention to the words, the key words. Of and your. Those are the two key words in everything. Well, okay, Deneen, let me ask you something, Deneen. Ms. Brandy, let me ask you something. If somebody's operating as a human, do you think that they're going to know about what men and women deal with? You're dealing with the wrong department. You're dealing with the wrong thing. You're dealing with a person. How many people do you know that are aware of and your? Be realistic for a minute. How many men and women do you know that are dealing with of and your? Not too many. These are the things that everybody misses, right? So how are you going to, you're going to have to educate them on the whole entire fucking thing, and they don't have time for that. Just file your fucking paperwork. Stop asking them questions. They don't know. If they knew, they wouldn't be doing the things that they're doing in the first place. They wouldn't be working for a business. They would have created their own entities and their own businesses and their own fucking shit. They wouldn't be working under a fucking business if they knew what you were talking about. So why are you trying to explain something to somebody that doesn't want to comprehend it? A lot of people like living in that bubble, right? That's why rule number 1, we're going to make this big. We're going to make this nice and big. Let he who can be fooled be fooled. You see how much work it is to try to teach you about these things? And it's all very basic, simple shit. So it's not your job to, you get what I'm saying? You're trying to teach somebody that doesn't want to learn. If they wanted to learn, they wouldn't be at that fucking job. Right. Exactly, Jazz. Exactly. If they don't fucking know their rights, they have no rights. Yeah.